Next month, your weekly grocery run might look a little different. Not because the shelves are being raided, but because the government is tightening the ropes. Behind the scenes, new regulations, trade restrictions, and import bans are already shaking up what stores can legally stock. And the results? Some of your everyday favorites could vanish, quietly and quickly. We're talking about essentials like seafood, pasta, baby formula, olive oil, and more. Not luxury items. Staples. Things you probably have in your pantry right now and won't notice are gone, until they are. In this video, we're breaking down 7 everyday grocery items the government might block access to next month. We'll show you exactly what's going on, what it means for your kitchen, and the simple steps you can take right now to stay stocked without stressing out or overspending. No panic, just preparation. Because when policies change, the smart shopper adapts. Let's dive in before it's too late. 1. Eggs and egg products, cracking under pressure. If you've noticed the egg section at your local grocery store looking a little bare, or the prices creeping up again, you're not imagining it. Eggs are quietly becoming one of the hardest items to keep on shelves. This time, it's not just about supply and demand. It's about government lockdowns on poultry farms caused by something far more serious: bird flu. Since early 2025, a wave of H5N1 avian influenza outbreaks has hit major egg-producing states like California, Minnesota, and Pennsylvania. And when a case is confirmed, the government doesn't wait around. Entire regions are put under immediate quarantine, which means no eggs, live birds, or egg products can leave the area without special permission. That sounds like a biosecurity win, but for your breakfast? Not so much. Even if eggs are still being produced locally, they're trapped behind red tape and regional restrictions. Areas that rely on out-of-state egg shipments, they're being hit the hardest, with empty shelves, rising prices, and even purchase limits popping up in places like the West Coast. Some stores are limiting shoppers to just 2 dozen eggs per visit. And prices are spiking by 30% or more in many regions. And it's not just whole eggs. Restaurants, bakeries, and food manufacturers are scrambling too, since many rely on liquid eggs, powdered whites, and processed yolks in bulk. As those supplies dwindle, you'll feel the impact in baked goods, breakfast foods, and even frozen meals. So what can you do? If you see eggs at a decent price now, buy a few extra and store them safely. Eggs last 3 to 5 weeks in the fridge, and you can even freeze or pickle them if you know how. You can also grab powdered eggs for long-term use. They're shelf-stable for years and work great in recipes. And for plant-based or allergy-friendly kitchens, don't overlook the power of flaxseed eggs. Just 1 tablespoon of ground flax with 3 tablespoons of water replaces an egg in most baking. The egg aisle is one of the first places you'll feel this crackdown. So stock smart, stay flexible, and don't let scrambled supply chains scramble your routine. 2. Spanish and Italian olive oil, the liquid gold under lockdown. If you love a good drizzle of olive oil over your salad, pasta, or bread, brace yourself. That bottle of rich golden oil from Spain or Italy might soon vanish from your grocery shelf. And the reason isn't just drought or demand, it's tariffs. Starting this summer, the U.S. government is slapping new import duties on a wide range of goods, including olive oil. And Spanish olive oil? It's taking the hardest hit, with a massive 25% tariff scheduled to kick in by July 9th, on top of a 10% base duty. Unless a last-minute trade deal is struck, prices will soar, and supply will sink. European producers have been scrambling to rush shipments ahead of the deadline, flooding ports and burning through quotas. But once that window closes, American stores are left staring at empty pallets. That means fewer bottles, steeper prices, and your favorite Mediterranean brands possibly vanishing altogether. This couldn't come at a worse time. Spain and Italy have already suffered 2 years of bad harvests due to drought, shrinking global supply. Add in inflation and rising transport costs, and now, with tariffs on top, it's a perfect storm. Analysts say prices for imported extra virgin olive oil could jump by 30% or more in the coming weeks. And it's not just luxury brands at risk. Even generic grocery store oils often rely on Spanish bulk oil, blended or bottled in the U.S. So whether you're a home chef or just someone who likes healthy fats in their stir-fry, this tariff squeeze is going to hurt. But you still have options. Greek and Moroccan olive oils aren't facing the same tariffs and may fill in some of the gap. Their flavor may be different, but they're still high in quality and nutrition. California olive oil is another solid pick. Just expect to pay a little more for the local touch. Want to stay ahead? Grab a couple of extra bottles now. Store them in a cool, dark place, ideally in dark glass, and they'll stay fresh for over a year. And when supplies get tight, keep backups like canola, sunflower, or avocado oil around for high-heat cooking. The olive oil crunch is coming. Stock up before your go-to brand is just a memory. 3. Sugar and sweet treats, the silent crackdown on your sweet tooth. Your favorite sugary snacks might be on the chopping block, and not because people are suddenly cutting carbs. As of April 16, 2025, the U.S. government triggered a special safeguard tariff that's already having a serious ripple effect on all things sweet. Under the SSG, Special Safeguard System, imports of sugar-rich products, anything with over 65% sugar by weight, have been hit with massive new tariffs. Why? Because we maxed out the yearly import quota far earlier than expected. And now, any extra shipments are either blocked or so expensive to bring in, it's not worth it for overseas producers. This doesn't just hit raw sugar. It's targeting cheap candies, dessert mixes, budget chocolate treats, baking icings, and sugary syrups, especially those made in countries like Mexico, Brazil, or the Philippines. These products, once lining shelves in bulk, are vanishing quietly or being replaced with smaller, more expensive versions. Walk down the candy or baking aisle and you'll start to notice the difference. Fewer options, shrinking package sizes, price tags creeping up. Some companies are even reformulating recipes to stay under the sugar threshold and dodge the penalty, which might change the taste you've come to love. And while refined sugar isn't banned, prices are slowly climbing. So far, it's a 5% bump. But experts warn that if the tariff stays in place through September 30th, and it's likely, prices could rise even more, especially if global sugar supplies tighten further. For home bakers and sweet-toothed shoppers, now's the time to prepare. White granulated sugar is a long-term pantry hero. It doesn't spoil if stored in airtight containers in a cool, dry place. Stocking up now means you'll avoid higher prices later. You can also get creative with natural sweeteners. Honey and pure maple syrup aren't part of these import issues and make great substitutes in everything from baking to tea. Bonus, they add unique flavor and are often richer in nutrients than refined sugar. This sugar squeeze shows just how quickly policy changes can reshape grocery shelves. Get ahead of the curve. Sweeten your stash before your go-to treats vanish. 4. Chinese seafood, off the menu and out of the country. If you've been stocking up on frozen seafood, like squid rings, imitation crab, or pollock fillets, you might want to check the fine print. As of late May 2025, the U.S. has slammed the brakes on a major portion of imported seafood from China, and the fallout is just beginning to hit store shelves. At the center of it all is a U.S. customs order called a Withhold Release Order, WRO, issued against the Chinese fishing vessel Genfa 7. Why? The vessel was found to be using forced labor, violating the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. Now, anything caught by that ship, think squid, krill, pollock, is banned from entering U.S. ports. If it shows up, it's either sent back or destroyed on the spot. This isn't just about one ship. It's part of a much larger crackdown. The U.S. is getting serious about keeping unethical products off our shelves, especially those tied to human rights violations. But here's where it hits home. A lot of affordable frozen seafood in American grocery stores comes from China. Those budget-friendly bags of white fish, seafood mixes, and imitation crab you see under generic brands, many are tied to vessels just like Genfa 7. And now with this key supply source being cut off, the ripple effect is about to roll in. Retailers are scrambling to find alternatives in places like Vietnam, Peru, or Ecuador. But shifting international seafood supply chains isn't fast or cheap. As a result, expect to see fewer options in the frozen seafood aisle this summer, especially in July and August. And whatever is available, prices are likely going way up. So what can you do? Start by stocking up now if frozen seafood is a regular part of your meals. Look for country of origin labels and prioritize products from Alaska, Canada, or South America, regions known for sustainable and ethical practices. Frozen seafood, if kept at ISDIG, 18 digs or lower, can stay fresh for up to a year, so buying ahead makes sense. Also consider checking out your local fish markets, which often carry regional options unaffected by international bans. As global tensions rise, choosing domestic and ethical sources is not just a feel-good move. It's a smart one for your plate and your pantry. 5. Durum wheat, flour, and pasta, a recipe for shortage. If pasta is a staple in your pantry, now's the time to pay attention. Because durum wheat, the heart and soul of your favorite spaghetti and artisan bread, is heading toward a major shortage. And it's not just one issue causing the squeeze. It's two global events colliding, and the fallout is coming fast. First, India, one of the world's top wheat exporters, has kept a strict export ban in place on both raw wheat and wheat flour. Originally meant to protect its domestic food supply, this ban has now become a long-term policy as India struggles with erratic weather, rising demand, and food inflation. That move has already tightened the global wheat pipeline. Then there's the U.S. Durham wheat crisis. Spring wheat crops in states like North Dakota and Montana are off to their worst start in over 40 years. Thanks to a mix of drought, late planting, and poor soil moisture, the U.S. is facing an extremely weak harvest. According to USDA reports, crop conditions are nearing 1980s level lows, just as global demand is exploding. What does that mean for you? Expect higher prices and less variety starting this summer, especially by August. Whole wheat pasta, specialty Durham-based noodles, multigrain breads, and flour-rich health snacks could become scarce or more expensive. Some prices may spike by 20% or more. Even generic pasta and store-brand flour might shrink in size or vanish temporarily due to inconsistent supply chains. To get ahead of the crunch, consider gradually stocking up on Durham wheat flour, pasta, and other long-lasting grain-based goods. When sealed in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers, hard wheat flour stays good for up to 18 months, and dried pasta can last for years in a cool, dry pantry. And if shelves start thinning, don't panic. Get creative. Bulgur, barley, oats, and couscous are nutritious and filling alternatives that can keep your meals satisfying and diverse. This is a clear reminder. Even the most basic foods aren't immune to global policy shifts and climate chaos. A smart pantry today is your best defense against tomorrow's empty shelves. 6. Chocolate and cocoa. The sweet treat turning bitter. If chocolate is your go-to comfort food or baking essential, you might want to savor your next bite because the world is running dangerously low, and the U.S. market is feeling the heat. In 2025, a full-blown global cocoa crisis is unfolding, and it's hitting everything from chocolate bars and baking cocoa to your favorite seasonal treats. The issue? It's not just price, it's supply. The majority of the world's cocoa, nearly 60%, comes from Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana. And for the past 2 years, these regions have been hammered by extreme weather, aging trees, and crop disease. Harvests have plummeted, creating a global cocoa shortage that's now turning up at your local grocery store. In the U.S., the problem's been made worse by another layer. The duty-free import quota on cocoa powder has already maxed out. Normally, a certain amount of cocoa can be brought in tariff-free, but because demand surged early in the year, that quota was burned through fast. Now, any cocoa coming in is slapped with heavy import taxes, jacking up prices even more. Here's what it means for you. Chocolate bars are shrinking, from 100 yen down to 90 yen or less, with prices going up. Cocoa powder tubs are disappearing or being replaced with smaller, pricier options. Budget-friendly candies and bulk chocolate products may be gone altogether. Holiday favorites like Halloween, Valentine's, or Easter chocolates could be in shorter supply with fewer options on the shelf. Even small bakeries and home-based food businesses are starting to cut back or rework recipes, trying to stretch their cocoa reserves as far as they can. So what should you do? If chocolate or cocoa powder is part of your regular rotation, now is the time to stock up. Vacuum-sealed cocoa powder lasts up to 2 years. And dark chocolate with 70% cocoa or more can be safely stored for over a year if kept cool and dry, around 59 to 68 degrees Celsius. This isn't just a seasonal hiccup, it's part of a growing pattern. Experts warn that underinvestment, labor shortages, and climate instability are turning chocolate into more of a luxury than a staple. So stash it while you can. Your future self will thank you. 7. Imported baby formula, a critical shortage no one's talking about. If you're a parent relying on specialty infant formula, there's an urgent update you need to know. As of May 2025, the FDA has rolled out new, stricter regulations, and they're already shaking up store shelves. In an effort to tighten nutritional standards, the FDA now requires updated documentation for every formula product, covering nutrient profiles, labeling, and manufacturing compliance. Until companies submit the latest data and get approval, their shipments are either delayed, rejected at the border, or outright banned from U.S. shelves. Who's most affected? Imported and specialized infant formulas, the ones designed for babies with severe allergies, digestive issues, or medical needs. Think of brands like Neocate, Alphamino, and other hypoallergenic or amino acid-based formulas. These aren't just alternatives. They're lifelines for families whose babies can't handle standard formula, and now they're vanishing. Unlike mainstream American brands, which still flow through the system smoothly, these niche imports come from smaller companies, often in Europe, that are not built for fast regulatory pivots. So when the rules changed, the pipeline stalled. No paperwork, no entry. This isn't just inconvenient. It's dangerous for families who don't have other feeding options. Pediatricians are scrambling to help parents find temporary solutions, but switching formulas isn't simple, especially for infants with complex health needs. It often requires medical supervision, trial periods, and careful monitoring. So what can you do right now? If your baby depends on a specialized or imported formula, try to secure a 4 to 6 week supply while it's still on shelves or available online. Double-check expiration dates and consult your pediatrician before making any changes to your baby's diet. And don't assume this is a short-term glitch. The formula market has been fragile since the 2022 shortages, and this latest regulatory shift shows how quickly access can change, even with good intentions. Keep an eye on FDA updates, stay connected with your healthcare providers, and act early. Because when it comes to infant nutrition, even one missing canister can feel like a crisis. And unfortunately, for many families, that crisis may be right around the corner. As we've seen, the shelves might look full today, but behind the scenes, policy shifts, trade restrictions, and supply chain crackdowns are already setting the stage for key grocery items to quietly disappear. From eggs and pasta to chocolate, seafood, and baby formula, these aren't luxury items. They're everyday essentials that millions of families rely on. And no, this isn't panic talk. It's a wake-up call. When government regulations tighten, tariffs kick in, or import bans go into effect, the impact hits consumers fast and hard, especially when you least expect it. Waiting until your favorite item is out of stock or triple the price leaves you with fewer choices and more stress. But now that you know what's coming, you can prepare without panic. A little planning today, whether it's grabbing an extra bottle of olive oil, stashing away some sugar or flour, or checking in with your pediatrician about formula options, can make a huge difference tomorrow. Stay alert, stay flexible, and most importantly, stay one step ahead. Because in today's world, being informed isn't just smart, it's survival. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more practical updates to keep your pantry and your family ready for anything.